That investigation is ongoing. I'd like to take a moment to thank several members of the Leicester Police Department who answered their phones in the middle of the night, got up and came into work and helped us out so that we would have enough help to investigate the accident, detour traffic. Route 9 was shut down from 2 a.m. when the accident occurred to almost 5 a.m. It was very important for us to get the poles out of the road, the lines out of the road, and get power restored to some of the houses down there before the rush hour traffic. And I don't think that people understand when something like this happens in the middle of the night, that there are dedicated men and women on this department who answer their telephones and they get up no matter what the weather is and they come out and get the job done. I had said earlier in the show that we had one housebreak that had occurred this week. I'm happy to report on a housebreak alert, and I talked about the Auburn Street housebreak where the woman came home and ran into the man inside her house. That investigation continues to move forward. Another community has arrested the individual that we believe committed this housebreak. Since he has been arrested, we have had 0 for housebreaks. So I would say we're definitely on the right track. We're currently awaiting some DNA and fingerprint evidence that we believe will link this individual to that housebreak, and probably several others in town if our fingerprint evidence turns out to be usable. And when you fingerprint, it all depends on how much ridge detail you get and how many points they can match. I just put this next piece in because it's interesting. I've spoken a number of times about the crosswalk problems that we have up around Washburn Square and over at Harborton and Winslow with the students walking to school. Over the course of about 18 months, we purchased 5 or 6 of these warning signs for pedestrians. They were all stolen. Every single one at $259 a piece. We just couldn't afford to buy any more. And the last one was stolen probably about 6 months ago, and they took the top part but not the base. Well, I was driving into work a couple of days ago, and lo and behold, it returned. It was stuck up on the side of the road, right up against a telephone pole where it could be seen. So somebody must have had a change of heart or conscience and drove by and returned the top part of it. We remounted it on the base and got it back over there, and we're happy to have it back. It was a quiet week as far as the arrest log goes. There were only 2 arrests. Take a quick look at those. We have David Staville of 25 Esther Street, Worcester. He was arrested for 2 counts of violating an abuse prevention order. This guy, I have to tell you, I read the report and I couldn't believe it. 2 o'clock in the morning, he's knocking on his ex-girlfriend's window. She's got a restraining order out on him. He turns around when she looks out the window and runs away. Jumps in his car and flees. Now, I guess my question is, he either didn't plan very well or he just doesn't get the drill. If you're going to try and get away, don't let her see you, because she could clearly ID who he was. She gave a very good description of the car. Officers responding to the scene caught him 2 blocks away, to which he stated he wasn't at the house, he was only out driving around. Well, I think it's pretty hard to drive from Esther Street in Worcester to the street where your girlfriend lives in Leicester and accidentally go by her house. He eventually admitted that he was at the house, but he didn't go into it. Of course, the restraining order says he has to stay 50 yards away, so he ended up in jail. And then there's Elise Blair, 176 Maple Ave, Building 5 in Rutland. She was charged with using without authority. Let's take a look at the wanted persons. We have one, Joel E. Brown. Last known address is 1749 Main Street in Leicester. He's 49 years old. He's wanted on an outstanding warrant for criminal harassment. 1749 is now an abandoned house up near the Spencer line, just before you get up to Breezy Gardens in that area. It's on the left-hand side. Let's take a quick look at the mailbox. There were a couple of questions that came in I thought might be interesting to people. So I recently drove by the police department and saw cruisers from at least 7 to 10 different departments at the station. What was going on? This resident figured there was something big happening in town and was very concerned. The answer to that is simply there was a training seminar going on downstairs. The Leicester Police Department hosts a number of training seminars each year downstairs to enhance the professionalism of the police department. We open them up on a regional basis. The more departments that we bring in, the more savings there is for the police department for attending the seminars. Last year, I believe we hosted 20 or 21 classes downstairs. It'll be a little lower than that this year. The next question was, I was thinking about having a block party in my neighborhood. Do I need a permit from the Leicester Police Department? The answer is no, you don't need a permit, but I would suggest that you also check in with the Board of Selectmen and make sure they're on board. However, we do ask that you stop by and talk to us about your street. In this particular case, the gentleman wanted to close down what I consider 2 significant cut-through streets in town, and I would not permit it. I did give some alternatives to side streets in the area where he wanted to have the block party, and those streets could be closed in the sense that emergency vehicles could be let through and you could just put a sign up, block party, as long as you have all the neighbors on board. We don't have a problem with it. We encourage that type of activity, but we can't allow it on the busy streets. Let's take a look at the statistics. There were only 3 accidents this week. That's down from 4 last week. And there were 581 calls for service or patrol-initiated activity. And I think that's up about 5 from last week. Finally, the Leicester Police Department is pleased to announce that in conjunction with AAA, we are going to host or co-host with them a program called Dare to Prepare. And it's going to be held on Tuesday, November 9th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. right here at the Leicester Police Department in the training room. And probably wondering what the Dare to Prepare program is. It's a program that discusses the process of obtaining your license, the graduated driver's license restriction and fines for teens, how parents can prepare for their teens to become safe drivers, and why crashes are the leading cause of death for teenagers. So it's an educational program for future drivers and their parents. And you can call or email Carol Canoia at the AAA branch in Auburn at the phone number or the email address that you see on your screen. This program is free. However, seating is limited to 30. So it's October 9th, 6:30 to 8 p.m. I would be very happy if we had 30 people there. That would be 15 parents and their sons and daughters or friends or relatives who are getting their license, and AAA will put on a nice program. We will co-host it about all the different things you need to know about getting your license. All the information contained in this production of Police Beat is taken from the logs of the Leicester Police Department. Viewers are reminded that suspects who are arrested are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, and Police Beat will gladly publicize the names of any of the individuals who are exonerated in a court of law. Questions or comments about Police Beat can be directed to me at the email address that you see on your screen right now. If there's something you think that we can do to make the show better, or some information you would like to see us possibly put out on the show, please give us a call and we'll be happy to consider it. It's currently Thursday at about 4:30 p.m. The Leicester Police Department is currently dealing with a tree on the wires near a house on Paxton Street and a tree on wires touching a house down on Locust Ave. Supposedly it's visible from Hank's Marina. So that's what's currently going on at this very moment as we're taping the show. Stay tuned for the next edition of Police Beat next week, and we'll see you then. Thank you for tuning in.